One of the things that I appreciated with Tracy Morgan, I told you I was behind the wall up north during my prison bid when Sun started blowing up, and I started seeing him on TV and started hearing him do stand-up comedy. But the beauty of Tracy's comedy and his acting or whatever, and what made me stay down with him and stay loving him, was the fact that he used some of those experiences, homie, in his comedy skits. That I should be like, yo, Tracy, I need a check, homie, because you used some of the material from our situations in your stand-up comedy that helped you blow up. It was parts in some of his comedy where he might not have used that girl Cupcake that I was referring to by name or whatever, but me knowing the story, I know he was talking about her in that stand-up comedy routine. Me knowing the story, I know he was talking about me in that situation with Nas B in that stand-up comedy routine that he did, and that made me appreciate it even more. He would talk about a girl that he used to date from the hood that used to be beating him up, and they used to be fighting in the projects. You know what I mean? Yeah, because remember I told you she was with the shits, and she was with the shits. So he was a little bit younger than her. So when they was together, she used to be trying to put hands on him. They used to be out there fighting in the projects and everything. Them two was crazy, but he used that. That's what I'm saying. My point was that Tracy used his real life, genuine experiences to come up out of the conditions that he was in, and he told those stories, and people genuinely and he was able to tell it in comedic form, and people genuinely loved to hear those stories because, like I said, he was a funny dude since kicking in the nuts when we was 8 or 9.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. Now. I'm gonna keep it real with you. That dude may be like top 5 funniest human beings that ever existed on the planet. Like real talk. Like I've heard that nigga done. He got levels of comedy, bro. He got levels of comedy that nobody has ever went to those depths of levels of muddy sludgery.
Because he's a project nigga. Excuse my terminology, but dudes don't like to hear the word nigga and all that, but I'm just keeping it a bit. He's a really hood, from the hood dudes. Yo, bro, I've been to some of his shows. I always go to all of his shows. He invites me. I go free. I go to him backstage with him, hold him down. Yo, he got stories. The way he tells the stories, the way he walks. Yo, son, you from Brooklyn. You know how Brooklyn dudes used to walk back in the 80s with the extra hard, lean bop. You think you need a cane the way a motherfucker leaning and bopping with it with the wall. Yo, Tracy embodies that in his comedy, bro, and he captured that element from back then, which is why I guess he's so endeared by so many people, man. That's my guy. I love him to death, bro. But I relate to his comedy, to me, I believe, more on a personal level because I know some of the stories. I know the back history of some of those jokes that he's telling. You know what I mean? I know the behind the scenes.
Yo, my favorite shit. When that dude went on Howard Stern, man, and you know Howard Stern, he's he be saying a lot of racist, like, real talk. Yeah, so he had Tracy Morgan on the show, and he was trying to shoot that racist shit under his belt. That nigga Tracy Morgan was airing that nigga out, bro. Airing that nigga out on a next level to whereas Howard Stern was embarrassed. And that nigga, he started being careful with what he said because the way that nigga Tracy was coming back, because Tracy knew what it was. He like, this nigga gonna try to racially get crazy on me. You feel me? Son, that nigga got so crazy on Howard Stern. That shit had me down there pissing on myself, bro.
I'm looking for that. I'm gonna look for that. I'm gonna Google that and see if I can find Tracy Morgan on Howard Stern and see if I can listen to that.
He was airing. That's the only nigga I ever saw. And I ain't see everybody, so I don't know who else. But that's the first dude I've ever seen shut Howard Stern the fuck up, bro.
Yo, let me explain something to you about Tracy Morgan's gift, right? And Tracy scared me because Tracy was the, and I'm gonna keep it a bean. I think I told you, I think I mentioned in the introduction something that Tracy Morgan said, and I think I attributed that statement to him. Maybe I think it might have been in the introduction or whatever, and I mentioned Tracy Morgan. I think he told me something, but he always tells me something. He used to tell me a lot of stuff. But Tracy Morgan, right? His influence, right, and his connection with white people scares the shit out of me at some point in time, because I told you I came home, connected with him, whatever. But when I didn't go on to the backdrop of, you know, how we eventually started doing business together, and you know, I, you know, started promotion companies and would book him for shows. So one time I brought him out to do a comedy show to a particular place, right? And this was right after he had just finished, I think, filming the last few episodes of 30 Rock. So that's what white people know Tracy Morgan from, I think, from the years that he was on 30 Rock with all those other well-known white comedians, right? We know him from Hustle Man in the Hood and all the black stuff he did. The white people know him from 30 Rock. So when I was promoting and I'm bringing him out here, he told me. So he told me, and I told the white people that I booked the venue from, and the white people that was, when I'm doing the radio interviews and all that, and the newspaper article interviews that's coming out to the show, I said, yo, this is not sketch comedy. Sketch comedy is different. Sketch comedy is the shit you get on 30 Rock and Saturday Night Live, when Tracy used to be on Saturday Night Live. That's sketch comedy. It's written and all. I said, stand-up comedy is impromptu. It's off the top of the head. A lot of times they look into the audience or whatever for material and go off the top of the head. So he told me to give them that warning. If y'all looking for Saturday Night Live Tracy Morgan or 30 Rock Tracy Morgan, you're not getting that. You're getting the hot nigga Tracy Morgan tonight. So listen, I told you they love him. So at that event that I threw, no lie, no cap lies, it was about 90% white people. I was like, what the fuck? They outnumbered us by the triples. So it was like about 90% white people. And in the joint was judges, a judge, the judge's wife. There was cops. There was all sorts of people in there. So the judges, white people love comedy, bro. I guess the rawer it is, and the more raw and the funnier it is, the more they like it. They was up front. And yo, Tracy, I don't know if you've seen his mouth, bro, and stand-up is like some of the foulest, most offensive shit, especially with respect to women that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
so the judge, so listen, let me give you an example. This judge was sitting mad dudes up top over here. And, you know what I mean? Mad dudes up top. Everybody know about this fucking wild judge. Dudes thought he was a racist. I was surprised as shit to see him at my show. I'm like, well, maybe he's not coming to see a black comedian, whatever. So he's right in the front. So this dude, Tracy, bro, so he goes into getting on the judge. He's like, yo, you know, oh, that's your wife right there. So I see you got the older white-haired man in the house and shit. Yo, who's that? So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like on the side of the stage. I'm like, yo, bro, like in my mind, I'm like, no, please, bro, don't get crazy. That's the judge. I don't want him to look at me like, oh yeah, you're wrong out here. Don't get that nigga and put him in jail. So this nigga Tracy like, yo, that's your wife. Yo, how long y'all been together? So he tells to the judge's wife, yo, that's y'all been together. He said, yo, this is his exact words. He looked that white woman dead in her eyes and said to her, he's like, yo, your husband, he a judge. He's like, yo, I know you suck the shit out that nigga dick. I know you be sucking his dick all the way down to your don't start gagging. I was, yo, son, you could have saw my face, bro. I turned red. As black as I was, I turned red. But so I'm peeking now out the side of my eye to gauge the judges. Yo, they were falling out of the goddamn chair, rolling with laughter, bro. So that's why I said, oh shit, that was an eye opener for me, because I said, yo. So that's what it is about entertainment, bro. Comedy, music, and all that. Those things break racial barriers, Lance.
Definitely.
That's a fact. Comedians and entertainers, they break through racial barriers, because I guess when people listen to comedians that they like or musicians that they like, they don't see color. they only hear and feel. So that was a jewel for me. I said, oh shit, here I am scared to death. And when we went back in the dressing room, I'm like, yo, boy, what, you crazy? That's the judge. You're trying to get me sent to. He like, bro, they love that shit, bro. They eat that shit. And that was a fact because the judge and his wife waited till after the show and came back to the dressing room and asked to get a picture and an autograph. I was like, boy, get the fuck out of here. I would have never said no shit like that out my mouth because I wouldn't have thought it was appropriate. You know what I mean? But I'm not a comedian. And I guess I don't understand the psyche of comedians with regard to them knowing their audiences and knowing what will play over. You know what I mean? But that was, that was just another sidebar with my homie Tracy that I wanted to give you just to let you know how profound of an impact that this dude had in my life and continues to have in my life, all based upon that one Kung Fu Jones Martin experience, you know what I mean, where I hit him with the flying under the cuff ninja nut kick, and and here we are, 50 plus, you know what I mean, still fucking with each other heavy, homie. Word. Still fucking with each other heavy.